Welcome to my first podcast. I've never done this before, so I'll try to do my best. I'd also like to welcome you to my home. I live in Florida. I've been here 20 years. This is where I cared for my wife for 11 years. So um, I feel really comfortable here. Now, my plan is to do one of these every week and to talk to you about all the variations of Alzheimer's. When I first found out about it, I really didn't have any idea what I was going to be facing. And there's not a whole lot of information out there from people like me that have actually been involved with it. I came to Florida and I was planning on being a care receiver. I didn't realize that I was going to be a caregiver. Now, first of all, I'm not a doctor. I don't have any medical backgrounds at all. In fact, I was in the insurance business for 25 years, sold some medical insurance, so I have a little bit of an idea. But after 11 years of working with my wife, by myself, basically, I learned an awful lot about it. Also, my son runs a medical education business where they do continuing ed for doctors. And I was fortunate enough to attend some of the meetings. One of them in particular was one on the human brain and involved a lot of information about Alzheimer's. And so I learned quite a bit from that. Sharyn and I were also fortunate enough to be accepted at the Bird Alzheimer's Institute at the University of South Florida on their campus in Tampa. And we were patients there for 4 years. And I learned an awful lot from their science people and from their doctors there. So that's the expertise I have. I'll probably be time now and then giving you some medical information, but I want you to understand it's strictly from those sources. And if you really need some real important medical information, you need to talk to a doctor. I mean, that's really what you need to do. Now, the thing that I would like to talk about in this segment is quality of life. And not just quality of life for the patient, but the most important person is the caregiver. Quality of life for the caregiver. When I found out about Alzheimer's and started researching it quite a bit, I heard a lot of negative things, obviously, about it, and I just decided I'm kind of a positive thinking person, and I just decided, look, I don't want Alzheimer's to take over my life. I want quality of life. I want to be able to do all the things that I've done, golfing, with retirement, traveling, doing all the things that I wanted to do. And so I made up my mind that I was not going to allow Alzheimer's to affect me. As a result, we led a pretty good life. And even though I cared for her for 11 years, I'm 82 years old. I'm healthy. I came through it fine. I had no big stress problems, and I didn't suffer at all. But I paid real attention to my wife and making sure that whenever there was a problem that I solved it. I mean, first of all, remember every Alzheimer's patient is going to deal with it a little differently. Some are more reactive, some are less reactive, but I believe they're all reactive. And there was an occasion when Sharyn would be yelling, no, 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 or trying to kick me, or, pounding, hitting me. I mean, that just kind of goes with the territory. The thing I want to do here with you is work with you in a way where you eliminate most of that friction. And that can be done with a positive thinking. Uh, I'm a believer in positive thought, and I believe that you really live the way you think. For example, if you think that Alzheimer's is going to be a horrible, horrible situation, that the day is going to be just horrible, well, it probably will be. But if you look at it that it's not that serious, that I can take care of it, and we just go along with life, then that's the way it will be also. We had very infrequent problems. I mean, I would say if I had a problem once a month, it might be on the high side. Now, one thing that I beginning with is when they said to me, well, your wife has early onset Alzheimer's. Well, I don't really care for the word Alzheimer's. I can't think of one single positive thing that describes it. It's just not a good word. And I decided right then that Sharyn and I was not going to talk to her about Alzheimer's. In fact, when we ever said anything, it was always memory issues. I even instructed her doctors. I said, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't bring up the word Alzheimer's because it's negative. And the last thing I want is negativity in our relationship. So maybe you might have said this to them, you might have talked to people about it or whatever, but I would say the thing you probably need to do is just sort of cut it out, and not use that word anymore, and try to keep everything on a positive. The, the simple thing I can say with quality of life is you're going to get you're going to find a time when people are going to be asking you, or the patient is going to be asking you over and over, well, about something. And it could be irritating if you allowed it, but they're asking you because they forgot. So the simple process there is number one, never say, well, I just told you. Or number two, don't you remember? Because no, they don't. Now, when they ask you a question that you've already said, don't get into a big, lengthy conversation and try to reconfirm the answer to the question. Try to make it real brief because guess what? They're going to forget your answer again. And maybe in a 15, 20 minutes, they're going to ask you the same question. So just minimize it. I used to say, oh, no problem, honey, or, we're fine. Everything's fine. Everything's good. You just reinforce the positive concepts and the positive ideas, and just minimize your conversations and explanations with them, and it makes it a lot easier on you. Remember, we want to have quality of life. I don't want to be sitting around trying to argue or explain or what stuff that's really going nowhere. Really going nowhere. I think the most important thing you can do is keep up your activities. Keep doing the things that you used to do. That's the way I lived my life. I was not going to quit golfing. I wasn't going to quit going out to dinner. I wasn't going to quit all the things that we have done all of our life. I wasn't going to allow that to happen. And as a result, it went pretty easily, because she enjoyed doing all these things. I think the last thing we want to do is lock ourselves up in the house and quit functioning in life. My wife golfed. We happen to live on a golf course, so we're really kind of lucky here. But my wife did some form of golfing up to about the last 4 months of her life. Now, it might have just been putting, but who cares? Church. My wife was in church, sitting in the front, up till about 2, 3 months before she passed away. She was the only one in church that had any kind of mental issues. But she was a great example for the people in church to see, oh, that's how they are. And I think it was very important for us to socialize and for her to socialize uh, everywhere we went, grocery shopping, just keep the activity levels going. Now, I'm going to talk about this further in other sessions about the various activities we did and how we handled them and what we did. The next one, though, that I want to do is I want to cover what is Alzheimer's. And I'm going to get into a little bit of the medical uh, gives and takes of what Alzheimer's is. So if you will subscribe, hit the subscribe button, then you will be notified when I give these talks. Um, I would say probably Sunday is kind of an outline for me that I will be doing these things on Sundays, release it, another maybe 10, 15 minute talk on some particular thing. What I would appreciate from you is asking me questions in the comments section. Now, you don't need to disclose who you are or whatever. Just ask the question, and I'll be more than happy to answer it. I want you to understand that you're not alone. You're not alone in this thing. I'm here to help. I've been through it. I understand what's going on. I understand the problems. And so let's communicate. Let's talk about it. And everything will be just fine. Have a great day.